Welcome to ThugExposed.Org. Today's show, Jay-Z raps about raping children and women. Hollywood pedophilia exposed. My name is Rayford Johnson. I'm going to be your facilitator. I'm a certified gang specialist. I'm the director of ThugExposed.Org Ministries, and I'm the author of the book, Thug Mentality Exposed. Now, the theme of every show comes from Ephesians 5:11. Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. And that's what we're going to do in today's shows. We're going to just jump right into it. Jay-Z's pedophile lyrics. Jay-Z, like I said, has raised the bar once again of immorality. And in this song that I'm about to play for you, it's a song titled Monster that he does with Kanye West. He's rapping about raping children and women. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and play this for you.
Murder in black convertibles. I kill a block, I murder the avenues. Rape and pillage your village, women and children. Rape and pillage your village, women and children. Rape and pillage your village, women and children.
I rape and pillage, rob your village, women and children. And it's like you haven't heard this on the evening news or anything like that. And I mean, that's just hard, to comprehend that. I mean, like I said, this individual's record sales is still doing well, still racking up Grammys and everything else like that. So, how is that this can go on to where someone could rap about, basically pedophilia, raping children and women, and still be celebrated by the mainstream? Well, let me give you a little history about Jay-Z and one of his mentors, Aleister Crowley. If you look at Jay-Z in this photo, you see him wearing a sweater, "Do what thou will." Now, that's a cliche that Jay-Z lives by proudly. It's basically a blatant protest against God. I'm not gonna do God's will. I'm gonna do what thou wilt, what I want to do. And, it's a basic doctrine of Luciferians, those who worship Lucifer, aka Satan. They felt the serpent in the garden was good. They felt God was bad, that the serpent brought them enlightenment, which was basically the magic. And this is basically the foundation of most secret societies. But like I said, we're going to move on to explain about Do What Thou Will. And we're going to go into a little history of Aleister Crowley. Now, the cliche, "Do What Thou Wilt," was also part of the Hellfire Club in England, in which Benjamin Franklin was a documented member. Okay, now the Hellfire Club was a secret society which worshiped Lucifer and practiced rituals which involved sexual orgies, drugs, heavy drinking, and even blood sacrifices. Now, in 1998, they came across an interesting discovery. Now, the Smithsonian Magazine .com online actually had an article titled, "Why Was Benjamin Franklin's Basement Filled with Skeletons?" Okay, one of our founding fathers of America had a basement filled with skeletons. 15 people. Okay, 15 people, 6 of them children. That's kind of scary. Like I said, this was a club that worshipped Satan, and part of Satanism or Luciferianism is blood sacrifices. And they dated these bones going all the way back to his era. So Aleister Crowley. Okay, let's dig into Aleister Crowley. Okay, now this guy, like I said, he's very influential. Was like a mentor, guru to a lot of rock bands and also rap groups. Now, they're embracing his doctrine. But Aleister Crowley, born October 12th, 1875, died December 1st, 1947. Now, born Edward Alexander Crowley was an English occultist, writer, mountaineer, poet, yogi, and possible spy. He was an influential member of occult organizations. Now, most of Crawley's adult life was dedicated to indulging in everything he believed God would hate. Performing sex magic, taking heroin. Now sex magic, I covered that in another podcast, but that's basically, doing perverted rituals to channel magical power. This is what the occult does. Taking heroin, opium, hashish, peyote, and cocaine. They believe that, this opens up the portal to the soul. Now, the word pharmacy comes from the Greek word pharmakia. And the word pharmakia actually means sorcery. And sorcery is when you open up the portal of your soul being your mind, your emotions, and your will, to spiritual demonic deities. That's what sorcery is. That's why God says don't do it. Okay? And it says, and even once offering himself to Russian authorities to help destroy Christianity. He wrote volumes of books that he believed were dictated to him by a spirit from ancient Egypt called Iwas. To worship me, take wine and strange drugs. Why? Because he opens up the spirit realm. Okay, remember pharmakia. The spirit conveniently told him, lust, enjoy all things of sense and rapture. Okay, enjoy all things of sense and rapture. Fear not that any God shall deny thee for this. Now in Proverbs 1 and all through Proverbs, it says the beginning of all wisdom is the fear of God. So, he was trying to gear people away from fearing God. Don't do what God wills, but do what thou wilt. Okay? Now, L. Ron Hubbard, founder of Scientology. Let me expose Scientology a little bit. And this is all I'm going to say. This is what L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology, has to say, the author of Dianetics. Talking about Aleister Crowley. It's fascinating work in itself. And that's work written by Aleister Crowley, the late Aleister Crowley, my very good friend. My very good friend. Okay? Now, Aleister Crowley, like I said, do what thou wilt. There's a lot of books written on him. Crowley was a Luciferian and 33rd degree Freemason who wrote about committing child sex and murder rituals for magical power. And this is in his book, Magic in Theory and Practice. He writes, for the highest spiritual working, one must accordingly choose the victim which contains the greatest and purest force. A male child of perfect innocence and high intelligence. He also taught that he would first sexually molest and rape the child before doing this. In another page, he writes, worship me with fire and blood. Worship me with swords and with spears. Let the women be girt with a sword before me. Let blood flow to my name. Trample down the heathen. Be upon them, O warrior. I will give you of their flesh to eat. Sacrifice cattle, little and big, after a child. So here you see women and children, being victimized. Here's another one. On page 41, the best blood is of the moon, monthly, then the fresh blood of a child, or dropping from the host of heaven, then of enemies, then of the priests, or of the worshipers, last of some beast, no matter what. Wow. Okay. So now he had a real dislike, or I should say hate, for Christians, and especially Jesus. And he writes, here we are. I am in a secret fourfold world, the blasphemy against all gods of men. Curse them, curse them, curse them. With my hawk's head, I peck at the eyes of Jesus as he hangs upon the cross. Now, Jay-Z also shares this same hate for Jesus. He did a backmasked song on the Gray album, which I'm about to play for you right now. If you don't know much about backmasking music, I'm going to leave a link below talking about the powerful influence of music, which I break down the history of backmasked music, in which Crawley, again, was a mentor to rock groups about this. It was called the Law of Reversal. But here is a excerpt from a backmasked song by Jay-Z.
666. Murder, Jesus.
666, murder, Jesus. That's what Jay-Z states. Now, like I said, this ain't just, with Jay-Z in the industry. He's not the only one. I mean, listen to this quote by Van Halen. Okay, David Roth from Van Halen. Okay, and this is basically an article, quote from an article. Okay, he says, its singer says the demons taught him to emphasize sex while on stage. Rock and roll is more than music. It's a lifestyle, he says. I abandon my spirit to them. You work yourself up into that state and you fall in supplication of the demon gods. Rape, here he is. Rape and pillage play important parts in rock and roll. And yeah, I'm Toastmaster for the immoral majority. Wow. Okay.